The Bar Association advises government to send the Bail Bill 2024 to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament. Government senators debate the bail bill in the upper house. 4 Barbadians selected to represent the island at next month's World Skills Competition.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. A swift response tonight from the Barbados Bar Association to government's proposed changes to the Bail Act. Though agreeing with government's intent to keep accused of serious crimes off the streets, the bar outlined objections to several aspects of the bill. It is also advising government to send the bill to the Joint Select Committee of Parliament to allow for stakeholder input before it is passed into law. That call was made this afternoon during a press conference. President Kay Williams says the amendments have serious implications for the general public. She adds that the association is gravely concerned that the important piece of draft legislation, which introduces constitutional amendment and proposes a repeal of the Bail Act in its entirety, was posted on the Parliament's website on Thursday, the 25th of July, effectively giving stakeholders 2 working days' notice before debate on Tuesday.
Where our concern comes is that this proposed Bail Act not only introduces constitutional amendments, but is an entire repeal of the existing Bail Act. So if we are going to make amendments to the framework of the Bail Act, we must look at all the other structures that are so important to the criminal justice system, and we must do this in a comprehensive manner.
Ms. Williams is making it clear that the Bar Association agrees with government that urgent measures have to be taken to maintain law and order in Barbados, especially as it relates to firearms, murder, and other serious offences.
We have been the recipients of so much criticism at all levels, including at the Caribbean Court of Justice, on the length of time it takes for accused persons to face trial. So it's the framework. We are concerned that the resources have to be placed in the framework around the Bail Act or the Bail Bill, and the resources have to be placed in the hands of the police service. There must be swifter reporting. We need forensics. We need the evidence. We need people who are accused, who are charged, need to be brought to the courts in a swifter manner. And that is the Bail Act or the Bail Bill does not address that.
Meanwhile, parliamentary debate continued on the bill today, but in the upper house. Government Senator Elizabeth Thompson says the proposed changes to the Bail Act are about protecting Barbadians by keeping dangerous criminals off the streets. Listing among those people who are accused of multiple murders and others who terrorize communities, Ms. Thompson says they cannot be allowed to continue.
It is a protective mechanism that government is putting in place. And we can talk about procedure, we can talk about amendments, we can try to extrapolate it and direct it to other areas of law. The reality is that government cannot duck its responsibility. It cannot abdicate its responsibility to the citizen for fear that somebody might bring this on appeal, for fear that it may be struck down, for fear that we are using incorrect process, for fear that it might affect some other legislation. Something has to be done to address criminal activity in this country in the most serious way, and that is what the government is attempting to do.
Well, earlier leading off the debate in the Senate, Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs, Senator Blackman, stressed the bill is not a knee-jerk reaction. He says the tightening of the grounds on which one can qualify for bail demonstrates government's zero tolerance for crime.
No longer can counsel plead, Your Honor, my client has no previous convictions. My client is not previously known to the court. My client is no flight risk. My client is a good and outstanding citizen of the community. All the different reasons that were used as to why bail should be granted, the burden is now placed on you will be detained until the trial has been called, unless it is in the interest of justice for you to be released. So there is now a higher discretion. And of course that discretion, framed with the unless, is within the court.
Opposition Senator Ryan Walters wants government to do more to firm up the pillars in the criminal justice system to support the Bail Bill 2024. He says this is critical to ensuring the system operates as efficiently as possible and processes cases quickly.
We put $50 million in Kensington, put $50 million in the judiciary system and all of the feeding systems, the government's support areas that will make this efficient. Sir, Mr. President, there are also other things that can be considered as it relates to bringing some of these cases to hearings as fast as possible. Because remember, the intent here, from where I sit, and where the opposition sit largely, is that we do not want persons that are charged with committing murder, persons that are charged with having illegal firearms, ammunition. We don't want those persons on the streets after being charged being a nuisance.
Meanwhile, in the lower house yesterday, the Barbados government moved to introduce plea bargaining legislation to increase the speed at which criminal cases move through the justice system. Attorney General Dale Marshall says the time it takes for matters to go from arrest through trial to conviction or acquittal has been a challenge. However, under the Criminal Justice Plea Negotiations and Agreements Act 2024, a person charged with an offence could negotiate a lesser charge accompanied by a guilty plea. Mr. Marshall says it cuts down on the need for expensive trials.
Plea bargaining already happens in Barbados in an informal way. I believe that you, in your private capacity, will have been involved in instances where you will say, look, you've charged my client with this, he's willing to plead guilty of a lesser offense, and, you know, if the prosecution agrees, you do that. But the fact is that there are no rules that are attendant with those informal arrangements. Nobody is bound to do anything. You can strike such a bargain with a prosecutor, and when you get to court, the prosecutor saying no, the court saying no, everybody saying no, and you've wasted your time and your effort.
Mr. Marshall has also addressed concerns that plea bargaining could rob the victim of their day in court, noting they'll be allowed to submit a victim impact statement. The Attorney General says people behind bars who have information on another crime could also negotiate a plea bargain in exchange for a reduced sentence.
So a convicted person who is already serving a sentence but who wishes to assist a prosecutor in another criminal matter, that prosecutor can go and say, I will enter into a plea bargain agreement with you in return for your assisting us with this other criminal matter. We are going to agree to cut the time of your sentence or any other benefit. Now, if that offer of assistance turns out to be illusory, then the plea bargain agreement is rejected.
Also speaking on the bill last evening was Prime Minister Mia Amar Motley, who said as Barbadians enter the last lap of the Crop Over Festival, government will do all that it can to ensure their safety.
We are going into a weekend where there's going to be a lot of activity. And we want the country to know that we are taking all reasonable actions to protect the interests of public order, public safety, individual safety, and overall the criminal justice system. We want the police to know we have your back.
Prime Minister Motley, who has just returned from a CARICOM Heads of Government meeting in Grenada, has voiced her strong support for the bill, which makes it tougher for people facing murder and firearm charges to get bail.
We share the concern that other heads of government share and heads of state in the region, as we discussed, that you cannot be spending all this time and risking life and limb to capture people and have them walk through the court door like if it is a revolving door. Mr. Speaker, these things are wrong and will not reap success for us to have a stable, fair, just, and promising society for our people. And I say to you tonight, sir, that this government is not perfect, but it will do what it has to do to protect the people of this country, the way of life of this country, and indeed the public order and safety of this country, as we are sworn to do, sir, and that is why this bill is before this honorable chamber.
Tragedy this morning at Thorpe's Cottage, St. George. An 81-year-old man apparently fell down some steps leading to his home and died. He's been identified as Llewellyn Branker. He was found this morning around 5:30 by the gardener who came to cut the lawn. Neighbor Joy Carrington says how she found out.
Well, this morning I got a call that Branker dead. So when I come here, I see him laying down, right? And evenings when I leave work, so when I pass, I just come out of here.
In other news now, 4 Barbadians have been selected to represent the island at next month's World Skills Competition in France. They'll be among 1,400 competitors from over 70 countries showcasing their talents during the September 10th to 15th event. The team members are Nathan Daniel for automobile technology, Holly Ann Bailey for car painting, Moriah Hill in cooking, and Seda Shepherd-Jones in restaurant service. They're all eager and ready to do their best.
I'm feeling pretty confident, really excited to be a part of such a big thing going on in the world.
I'm just really excited to go and represent Barbados and my team and all the effort that's put into it. I'm ready to just showcase at the competition.
I'm really enthusiastic about representing Barbados in Lyon, France. So I'm just here with all the nerves, but I will be prepared for World Skills.
I am really excited to represent Barbados and the whole automotive industry in Barbados, and make them as proud as possible with my achievements.
And technical delegate Dario Walcott is upbeat about the team's chances of bringing back prizes given the level of preparation they've all been engaged in.
We had World Skills Barbados in 2023. 3 of these competitors would have won, and Nathan actually came second in his competition. We had months of preparation, and most recently you would have heard from the minister and our acting executive director that we would have had some international experience, so international competitions as well as international training workshops.
Minister of State in the Ministry of Education Sandra Husbands congratulated the Barbados team and everyone who assisted with their preparation. She encouraged the competitors to do their best and make the most of the opportunity and to encourage future generations.
It is important that we're mindful that regardless of the competition's outcome, you're representing not only the TFET Council, but yourself and your family. Above all, you will be representing us, Barbados, a small but powerful nation which is highly regarded in the international community. So we expect you to do your best. We also expect that whatever you do, strive to achieve, and to do it with the same dignity, grace, and pride as countless Barbadians who've represented this country internationally.
Time for Sports Night. With us is Mark Seal. Mark, good evening.
Very good evening, Pearson. We're going to start with the Olympics, where Barbados Olympian Matthew Wright finished 34th out of 55 competitors in the men's triathlon at the Paris Olympic Games today. Now, Wright completed the course in 1 hour, 49 minutes and 18 seconds. He did the swimming leg in 22 minutes, 13 seconds, the bike ride in 53 minutes, 50 seconds, and the run in 32 minutes, 2 seconds. Next up for Team Barbados is track and field, with Tristan Evelyn competing in the women's 100 meters on Friday. Switching now to cricket, where a World Cup promise was realized today in Barbados. The Barbados Cricket Association and the Beyond the Boundaries initiative presented cricket kits to the Line and Length Academy. The ceremony took place at the Academy's base at Briar Hall playing field. This venture came out of the 2024 ICC Men's T20 World Cup, where sponsor DP World had pledged to donate kits to grassroots academies around the world every time a team scored 100 runs in an innings. The kits, which included, among other things, bats, pads, gloves, helmets, and gear bags, were presented to the directors and members of the Line and Length Academy. Board member of the Barbados Cricket Association, Pedro Graves, says he's happy to see the younger generation being given an opportunity to play cricket with proper gear.
We want to keep the World Cup fever going that we just had an excellent World Cup where we're knocking grassroots cricket out of this world. And in so doing, we're here to present this gear to them today. And I want to thank them, Line and Length Cricket Mechanics, for continuing to play their part in development in Barbados cricket. They participate in the BCS Under 13 competition as well as the Franklin Stevenson Under 17. So therefore, it's fitting that you receive this gear in terms of continuing your development in Barbados cricket.
Dr. Sasha Sutherland, who is the chair of the Royals Girls Cricket Club, noted it is important to keep West Indies cricket culture alive.
It's just a privilege and an honor to be here today, supporting grassroots cricket, helping to create that legacy of greatness, West Indian greatness. It is not lost on us that when you see kids running around being engaged in sport, physical education, physical activity, it augurs well, not just for health, but the continuation of what West Indians love, cricket. And so this initiative helps to continue that legacy, making sure we have everyone active and moving, making sure there is a legacy of cricket love across the Caribbean. It's a pleasure to start here in Barbados, to have girls involved in cricket and involved in sports and physical activity as well.
Now, the director and chairman of the Academy, Ian Knight, expressed gratitude for the donations.
This investment is definitely needed in youth cricket in Barbados especially, and the Caribbean.
In business tonight, energy storage is a key area in Barbados' transition to renewable energy. Minister of Energy and Business, Senator Lisa Cummins, made the comment as she and a high-powered team from the Inter-American Development Bank, the U.S. Department of Energy, RELP, and officials from her ministry addressed a media conference at her office. She said it was a market-sounding event from a 6-month report on the development of Smart Energy 2030. Trevor Thorpe was there.
The Energy Minister told the conference government is happy with the work of the technical team and pointed out that their exploratory work on the procurement and the development of a green footprint for Barbados came at no cost to taxpayers. She said the renewable energy space is open to all Barbados, irrespective of the size of their involvement.
By deploying battery energy storage systems in the country, it allows us to treat to the broad issues on the grid to create that stability and to be able to unlock once and for all, at least in this very first tranche of procurement, the first batch of persons whose licenses are awaiting connections to the grid. The second thing that I would say then on that is that this is only the first batch of procurement. The expectation is that we will have subsequent procurement rounds, and we want to invite Barbadians to participate.
Co-founder and Chief Operating Officer of RELP, Mauro Soares, in giving background to the work done, told the conference a model for grid characterizations has been built, which would allow the technical team to set a strategy for the way forward.
And that should hopefully accommodate for all the licenses are out there granted and waiting for the interconnection, and also for the next procurement that has to happen, the next level of development of generation that will eventually substitute for the thermal generation and pave the way to 100% carbon-free future that has been set as an ambition by Prime Minister Motley.
Investment interest in the renewable energy sector is healthy, and the president of the Barbados Bankers Association, Shimon McIntosh, said funding is available, but banks are awaiting word from the technocrats.
Once we get over the hurdle with the storage issue, as I mentioned before, every bank has a pipeline of projects that are ready to go. So as long as we get storage going, we are ready to fund generation side projects or storage projects or co-located storage projects as well. So there's no shortage of appetite.
The technocrats have been working on the renewable energy development for the past 6 months. Trevor Thorpe for the Business Report.
Time now for tonight's trading report.
In Jamaica, Victon Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with 11,141,625 units was the volume leader, followed by Radio Jamaica Limited and Carreras Limited. In Trinidad and Tobago, Massey Holdings Limited was the volume leader with 109,990 shares changing hands for a value of Trinidad and Tobago $395,926.39, followed by JMMB Group Limited. And here in Barbados, Government of Barbados Bonds Series B was the volume leader, trading 1,588,098 shares at $83 Barbados each, and they were followed by Goddard Enterprises Limited.
Time for the second half in sports with Mark Seal.
Yes, indeed. International Table Tennis Federation expert Norman Tang was in Barbados recently, training local umpires and referees. The three-day umpires course saw 10 new basic umpires being certified, and it continued with the ITTF Basic Referees course. The goal was to equip more Barbadians with the knowledge of table tennis while becoming qualified, as the Commonwealth Masters Championship is soon approaching. Canadian Tang is urging more Barbadians to get involved and enhance their skills.
I'm here in Barbados to help train the new group of umpires and referees, so I'm really happy to do so. Barbados is one of the countries developing the sport rapidly, but they do need help. They do need expertise from outside to bring the level up. So we are here to help them, and I can see the interest, the keen interest from everyone.
President of the Barbados Table Tennis Association, Margarita Felix, was grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with the ITTF on this initiative.
We wanted to have more umpires on the island, and especially with the Commonwealth Masters Championship coming up, we would like to have more umpires. I myself have umpired throughout the globe, and I think it's a very good opportunity for persons to get there, and I am very thankful and happy that persons have come forward to say, well, let me try this, let me go this, and we're going to go all out to help them.
With the Cricket World Cup spirit still in the air, the Barbados Royals Girls Cricket Club, in collaboration with the Barbados Cricket Association and the University of the West Indies, are hosting the first all-girls camp. As a legacy coming out of the Men's T20 World Cup, the aim of the club is to grow cricket by 100 girls over the next year and to equip them with life skills. Chair of Barbados Royals Girls Cricket Club, Dr. Sasha Sutherland, is thankful for the response she received from parents and the girls, as her hope for the camp is to create both athletes and responsible children.
When we started this program, we recognized that there was a need for more cricket for girls in sport, and so we're the first women's cricket club in Barbados. Outside of the Barbados Royals Girls Cricket Club, we have the Barbados Gems, which is a BCA program. I think what this says is that girls just want a space where they can move, where they can be physically active. We've moved away from that, you go outside and play with the community, so it means that we actually have to create that community for them. And so by seeing it turn out here, for this camp, I think the future for cricket is bright. I just want to say to Barbados, once girls have an opportunity to engage in physical education, physical activity, and sport, we're producing well-rounded citizens. And so we encourage everybody, it does not have to be cricket, but just get behind girls and women participating in sport because society is better for it.
Now, West Indies under-19 cricketer Decoria Collymore says the camp is very important as it allows her to perfect her craft as a bowler.
For me, this camp is a learning experience to just get back to the basics and fine-tune anything that I need to work on personally. I think that this camp is a great opportunity for girls who are now learning cricket or have already started cricket but just want to continue their skills and improve. Hopefully next year I'll be able to show my skills as a bowler.
And the 12-year-old Jakaya Wickham says the camp has been exciting for her and she sees it becoming greater in the future.
I learned different things like batting and like different batting techniques and bowling techniques. It's a big opportunity and they can like go forward with it in the future. I see myself being a member of the Barbados Royals when I get older.
That's Sports Night.
That's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.